Welcome to the Native Youth 2020 Virtual Summit. To kick things off, here's Chance Rush.
Right. Yeah. Hey. Man, how are you doing? It's me, Chance Rush. I had to have some cool intro music because these next 5 presenters, they're way cooler than me. So I figured I would, come into something cool. Hey, man, I really miss you all. And I cannot wait to get back out there and get into the communities. It is August 6th. It's 11 a.m. and I've been waiting for this moment to come so I can finally be around my young relatives. I can finally be around my communities. Again, I'm Chance Rush. I'll be serving as your host today for our 2020 our Native Youth 2020 Virtual Summit, being presented by and in partnership with the Tribal Youth Connections, as well as Traditions Not Addictions with the Wichita and affiliated tribes and the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma. You can find out more information by visiting our Facebooks at Tribal Youth Connections, as well as the Facebook of Tradition Not Addiction. I want to give a special shout out to everybody that made this day possible. Raquel and Dawn Ramos, thank you guys very much for thinking of not just me, and not just the other speakers, but I want to thank you for thinking about, our young people, because, we all can't come together right now, but we will one day. I want to give a shout out to my main man, Sammy over at Design Works Group, for your efforts and helping us put this whole thing together so it's presentable for our young people. And I also want to thank all of my brothers who have made a commitment to be here today to share with you. We're going to have some amazing speakers. So I'll go over the agenda with you real quick. The agenda is going to start off, obviously right now. Hey, everybody, Chance Rush, the MC, I'm ready to go. But we'll go throughout the day. The virtual conference will be taking place simultaneously from, I believe, from 11 to noon. It'll be the opening here, and then I'm about to introduce Levi Horn here in about 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back together from 1 to 2. We have Casey Nicholson from Fort Belknap, and Brian Frijo from the Pawnee and Seminole tribes of Oklahoma, or Seminole tribe. And then we'll conclude the day from 3 to 4 with Christian Paris, aka Superman, in the building, and then we'll have Ron Wakini with us to talk about underage drinking. So I'll introduce them here in a little bit, but we have a great lineup, and I'm very grateful and thankful. I don't want you to think I'm fancy at all, because here in a little bit, I'm sure going to have some daughters walk in and yelling around, and then my dog will start barking or whatever. But this is the quietest part of the house, man, so I figured I would try to sneak over here and hide out. But before we get started, I want to just take this time to have a moment of silence for whatever's on your heart. I want to give a moment of silence just to be in solidarity with anything that anybody's going through. Our country, this world, our leadership, our tribal communities, everything is in a tough situation. But I know that we're all going to bounce back, and I know that we're all going to come together. So with that being said, I'd like to take this moment of silence, and whatever's on your heart, I stand in solidarity with you. All right. Hey, guys. Man, I am excited about this. I cannot wait. We got 3 sessions today. And, hey, listen, whatever you got going on in your heart, whatever you're dealing with, hey, like I said, man, we're going to bounce back and we're going to be good, and we're going to be in a better situation. I promise you that, and it just kind of like a reminder is that you got to go through things to get to where you want to go. We didn't sign up for COVID. We didn't want it to, we didn't want it to enter our homes and enter our bodies and everything like that. So I want us to be thinking about the people who have passed on because of COVID. I want us to be thinking about the people who are currently, in hospitals because of COVID, or who have tested positive for COVID. And I want to my heart goes out to you all. And also at the same time, if you're unsure, and you can't get tested or whatever it may be, continue to wash your hands, wear a mask, keep your social distance. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere, but most importantly, man, just stay positive, say your prayers, love one another, and, be the advocate, be that person, bring light to people, give good medicine to people. That's all we can do, and through this time. But like I said, we're going to get there. And I know right now, man, it's frustrating. It's hard. We're impatient, but we're going to get there. Okay. But I ask you just to please play your part, during this time during the quarantine, and trust me, the quarantine is going to be going on for a while. What are some things that you can do to better yourself during the quarantine? Go for walks, exercise, read a book, write a book, come up with ideas, write a song, learn to play the piano, learn to play the guitar, exercise, work on your beating, work on a relationship, call someone and ask them to forgive you, forgive someone who asks you to forgive them, whatever it may be. There's a ton of things that we can be doing to better ourselves, because you can waste your time, right? You can waste your time, wasting time, or you can working on you. It all takes the same amount of time. You can spend 5 minutes, putting someone down. You can spend 5 minutes picking somebody up, 5 minutes being lazy, 5 minutes working hard. I know we all have to balance, so that's very, very important. And before I get started with today's program, I just want to share with you a little bit about, the purpose of this virtual summit. We all have these routines, and sometimes our routines make us better people. If you walk away from something and you're going over there to something that's better for you, you get used to being around things that are better for you. That's just how it is in life. If you find yourself in a situation where you quit hanging out with a certain group, or you quit eating a certain thing, or you quit doing a certain thing, and you focus on doing better. Well, the more that you hang out and doing better, the easier it comes to be better. And then you turn around and you think, man, I wasted all that time, wasting time. I wasted all that time being negative or putting people down. I want to get away from that. I want to be sober. I want to be stronger. I want to be healthy. I want to be these things. And, people hone in and focus in on, the new routine that is saving their lives. Then COVID comes. And after COVID comes, a lot of our people revert back into their old way, because things have been taken from them. Like that event is canceled, or that store is closed, or that building is shut down until this thing is over. And when people are taken away from things that are making them better, sometimes they can revert back to things that held them back. We're thinking about our school children, when they put an end to schooling because of COVID. A lot of our young people would go to school to eat, go to school to socialize. Now their meals are taken from them. And now their friends are taken from them. And there for a little bit, the schools were like, well, we still got to feed these kids. So from this time to this time, come up here and we'll have sack lunches. And, they were doing the sack lunches, and then funding for the sack lunches ran out. I'm not trying to set up our setbacks, but what I'm saying is if you love you and if you believe in yourself, you will persevere. It's easy to give up and quit, but to persevere, it takes time. It takes positive energy. It takes a positive outlook. It takes a positive dream. It takes positive action. And I know that you have that because, you were not put on this earth not to matter. You were not put on this earth to be in the struggle. We can all make the change, and we can all do some great and wonderful things. One thing that I really am excited about is the partnership with the Wichita and affiliated tribes and the Shina Arapaho tribes as they teamed up with, the Tribal Youth Connections. Is that, my mom is from the Shina Arapaho tribe. And I remember my mom used to always tell me, she says, son, never back down and always keep it turned up. And that resonated with me, to never back down and always keep it turned up. Now we're on a platform as Native youth. We're on a platform as Native leadership. Listen to me. This past month has been pretty crazy. We went from having the Washington football team take its name down. We went to putting a stop to no DAPL up in North Dakota because the pipeline is hindering our water life, our farmers and Indian reservations. The Corps of Engineers put a stop to it. We just found out not too long ago that the very community that I sit on, by the Supreme Court, was ruled that it is Creek Indian Reservation. We're being heard, but we have to all play our part, because the more that we're heard and the more action that we have as Native people, the harder they're going to come at us. So you have to be ready. You have to gear up. You have to put yourself in a position. You have to put yourself in a position to be on the playing field. And we can't get on that playing field by doing this. We can't get on that playing field by just talking all the time. We can't get on that playing field by, acting bougie. What we have to do is we got to get on that playing field with our mind, because our mind is going to dictate a lot of things for us. And the first relationship your mind has with you is your heart. So your mind and your heart, when they work together, man, your soul opens up even more to go get and to go make a difference. So with that being said, man, I'm so grateful. I'm absolutely grateful to work with you today. I'm grateful to be Native American. I'm grateful to be an advocate and live an alcohol and drug-free life. And more importantly, man, I'm grateful that my spirituality can serve in a lot of different capacities. We're here. We are here. As beautiful Indian people, we are here. And I know a lot of times, we talk about there's not a lot of us left. I don't want us to think about that we're the last ones left. I don't want us to think like that. I want us to think like we are still here. If there's a message that I could leave you with, it'd be this. Young people, don't look at bad things that want to do good. When I was coming up, like a lot of old school Indian cats, we didn't have the luxury of a lot of things that our young people have today. We didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have even, earpods. We had big old huge antlers that we used to put on our heads to listen to. Now you just pop these in, or, I don't know. I don't think I have my phone's recording. You guys got these phones now. We used to have to call collect. Now you guys can message each other from all across the world, right? Things are changing. And even though things are changing, I want you to remain the same. I want you to be who you are. But always remember where you come from. Because when you know where you come from, you truly, truly will know who you are and what you should stand for. With all that being said, I want to take this time just to leave you with this as we get going. Don't look at bad things that want to do good. But through this summit today, I want you to find your greatness to be the very, very, very best. Because we were all put here to do some really cool things. I'm so excited about today's virtual conference, and I know that it's going to be impactful. I know that somebody out there is going to get something amazing out of this. And I remember when that all started for me, I listened to one person and I decided that I wanted to serve in the capacity with families and with youth and with Indian rights around the United States. So I leave you with this. If you're not old enough to vote, encourage your relatives, encourage your neighbors, encourage people to register to vote and then get out and vote. Because there's a lot of things that we've got to have done and get done. And we've got to get on that playing field. The census is important. Indian people are finally being heard. But it's going to take this generation right here to continue to take a stand for us. It's going to take your generation. So make sure that you're legit. Make sure that you're equal. Make sure that you're valid. Anything that ever goes down, if you're valid, if you're legit, and if you see yourself as equal, they'll have to listen to you. They'll have to hear you out. And that is the life. When you're valid, you can speak up. But you got to make yourself valid. One of the best ways to make yourself valid is have presentation skills. Work on those every single day. Before I get out of here, lastly, I want y'all to focus in on your self-care on all type of levels. Be presentable, smell good, take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. Watch what you eat. Get out there and exercise. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm not saying that you have to eat boring. I'm not saying that you have to be boring. But you have to take care of yourselves. We have that ability to take care of ourselves. Eat better. Exercise. Put down, stay away from alcohol and drugs. Put down things that are negative to you. Get away from things that can hold you back. But at the same time, going into, if you're in environments, you have a say. You be proud. You make a difference. The night that I knew that I was going to be alcohol and drug free, it wasn't, what my mom or my dad went through. What was going to make me alcohol and drug free is I remember I had two little brothers and I was a sophomore in high school up in Enid. And I remember one of the most popular kids in school liked me because I was a track athlete. And he came over to my house and he picked me up, and I know his little sister liked me. He was an upperclassman, but I know his little sister liked me. And he wanted to go hang out. And he said, "Hey man, my sister wants to meet you." And she was pretty, man. She was one of the prettiest girls in school, right? And as I got in the car with them, him and his buddy, one was a linebacker, the other one was a track athlete and a wide receiver. We all got in this car. We were driving off, and I heard these bottles in the back clinging around, and I listened, and I said, "Hey man," I said, "what's that noise?" And then he goes, "Man, that's beer." He said, "My older brother got us some beer," and they high-fived each other in the front seat. And right then and there, man, I thought about my little brothers. I thought about, being an example. I thought about the stereotypes that people have toward Native people. So I asked them to stop. And then they said, "You don't want to hang out with us?" And I said, "Nah, man, just stop right here." He goes, "I'm not taking you home." I said, "I don't care, man, just stop the car." And right when I said that to him, this dude punched on his gas and he drove out about 3 miles out of town. And we got out 3 miles out of town. He pulled over on the side of the road. He goes, "Get out. Get you out of my car." So I got out, and then he looked at me and he said, "Hey man, I'm never going to hang out with you again. Don't ever ask me to hang out don't ever ask to hang out with me. I never asked him to hang out anyway. He wanted me to hang out with him. He goes, don't ever ask me to hang out. And don't ever come up and think you can hang out with me ever again. And he drove off. And I'm sure he told his sister didn't like me, you know. And I walked 3 miles back home. But I walked home sober. I walked home safe. I walked home, you know, being an example. Here's the thing. Something could have happened to me. I could have got hurt. It could have did something to me. But when I took a stance on being alcohol and drug free and I walked 3 miles back home, I lost a lot of friends at the time. Well, the beauty of this story is I may have lost a lot of friends at the time, but I gained so many friends and so many family members around the United States by living an alcohol and drug-free life. It doesn't cost money. You don't have to worry about being famous or popular or liked to be sober, because sobriety, you know, a lot of times we say it's on the outside, but your sobriety is on the inside. And when you have sobriety in your life, man, you fall in love with yourself more and more each day. So with that being said, I just want to leave that with you, is that, you know, in the short term, you know, your actions won't be recognized. But in the long term, they will. And unfortunately, that's good. And, you know, whether that's good or whether that's bad, the decisions you make now that are negative, they're going to catch up in the long run. The decisions that you make being positive and encouraging will catch up in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today in 5 powerful 30-minute workshops. At 11:30, here in a moment, we're going to have former Chicago Bear and former University of Montana Grizzly standout Levi Horn from the Northern Cheyenne tribe, who makes his home in Spokane, Washington. And congratulations, Levi, on purchasing your new home. And I hope you get that air conditioner fixed, because I also know what it's like to be a homeowner. After my main man, Levi Horn, who's going to be talking about fielding your dreams, at 1 o'clock Central Time, we'll come back with Casey Nicholson as he talks about mental health and healthy choices. From 1:30 to 2, from the Seminole tribe, from Pawnee Nation, making his home out in California, we got one of my mentors, Brian Frijo, to be talking about your future and drugs don't mix. Interesting thing about Brian is his daughter broke a collegiate national record for, I think, the most 3-pointers. So congratulations, Ava. I know you're watching this, and I know that you're proud of your dad. Your dad's proud of you. From 3 to 4, we're going to close out the day with 2 amazing speakers from Crow Nation and MTV VMA award winner and multiple NAMI award winner. We have Christian Parrish. Some of y'all know him as Superman, one of the greatest entertainers of our era in Indian country. It was MTV Artist of the Week. We have Superman coming on, talking about resilience from 3 to 3:30. And then we'll wrap up today with my main man, Ron. It's On with Ron Wakini, who will be talking about about preventing underage drinking. I had a chance to sit in a meeting with Ron and all these, and we're just so grateful, you know, that I can have the opportunity to open up and serve as the MC. Thank you again, Sammy, Raquel, Katie, Dawn, Ron, all of you guys. Thank you, Tribal Youth Connections. Thank you, Tradition Not Addictions, over with the Wichita and affiliated tribes and the Shiner-Rapo tribe. I want to thank you guys for putting this on. It is August the 6th, and it is almost 11:30, and it's time to listen to our speakers. With that being said, I'm Chance Rush, and I want to thank you all for listening to me, and I hope that you enjoy the conference today. And I want to say this, man, I'm proud of each and every one of you. I love you. I can't wait to see y'all down the road. That's right. I love y'all because we're still here.
Next up is Levi Horn.
Hey, everybody. We're doing it virtually. We're going to do it the way that we've always done it before. And I just wanted to start off with the smudge and a quick prayer for all of us during these times, these difficult times that we're all going through. And we bow our hearts, bow our heads. Creator, I just want to ask you to come into all of our houses in a good way. Ancestors, watch over us in a good way. Heal us mind, body, soul, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually during these times, keeping us strong when we have our needs and our wants, and we tell our weaknesses. Please be there, and I ask you to please be there for these youth, these young ones out there, and help guide them in a good way, help guide them to a good source. I pray out there that we're all just being watched over, and hopefully we have some good people in our life right now that we can depend on. And if we don't have good people in our life that we can depend on, letting us being able to go out there and find somebody, being able to ask for help in that time of need, which we'll talk about. Just being able to bless the young ones coming up, the young men, the young women, blessing our relationships in this time of revolution. Letting us being able to have a voice out there so we can further help the next generation with their fight for equality, for justice, for peace. And that's the most important thing. Pray for peace for all of us. Yellow, white, red, black. Letting us come together and unite and being able to meet each other's needs in a good way and get out this hate and just bringing positivity to this world that we live in. Pray for healing. Pray for all those who are sick out there, Creator, especially with this nasty virus that's going around. Pray for all you guys. Love. Oh, thank you. Just want to welcome everybody who's coming in, tuning into this virtual summit. Shout out to Raquel Ramos and all the brothers and sisters that you might have already heard, or some that are to come with their good words. I'm down here in my fancy new studio that I just put up, aka Pendleton blanket on a mattress. We just get that moving. So I'm very proud and happy to be able to share these words with you guys about my journey to the NFL and how that happened. And yeah, I always sit there and I reflect back on that and see, where I could have been better, where I had some weaknesses, and where I can grow today. So who am I? I'm Levi Horn, Northern Cheyenne, Chicago Bear, Minnesota Viking, University of Montana, Grizzly, All-American, N7 ambassador. I've gotten to do a lot more things with my life, with this game of football, this love of football that Creator gave me. I'm going to talk a little bit about, maybe you haven't been able to find what Creator gave you, but I just want to promote, and I just want you to get excited about what you have inside of you, because Creator has given us a spark of divinity, something divine, something special to us. And we would have to see that maybe in our sweats, maybe we would have mentors back in the day, but now we have to do it a little bit more on ourselves. I didn't have much when I was younger. I grew up with a single mom on welfare. She had 3 kids and a granddaughter, and she was my rock. She's still my rock today. I go over there, and I always make sure I give a shout out to her and all the Native women in our country and our world that has kept us going over these hard times in the past couple hundred years. Our women are strong women, and this is where I challenge our young men to come up right next to our young women so we can go together in a good way, good, healthy way, healthy relationships. That's one of the biggest things. And when we talk about mental health and substance use disorders, we got to be able to protect ourselves to protect our relationships. And shout out to my mom. I love my mom so much. And being able to have her in my life still and take care of my kids and see my kids is very, very important to me. So with this, us as Native Americans, we've always known that our words have power. Our words, when we sit there and we send negativity out to each other, we're going to rip them down. We call that lateral violence. Native Americans are very good at lateral violence. We'll sit there, we'll knock down the next person's dream. First time I ever said I wanted to go to the NFL was when I was 6 years old. And people sat there for sure and said, Levi, you ain't ever going to do that. Teachers told me you weren't going to do that. Adults told me. They didn't believe in my dream. They wanted to take that away from me. So we sit there, we look at our circle, and how are we feeding each other in our circle? Are we saying positive things? Are we building each other up? Because we've always been competitive. We've been competitive people, but we've tried to do that to one-up each other, to better the other one, not to take each other down. Not to take each other down. Because we were sitting there, we were still together, we were still that circle. And we think about our circles, our family circles, our friend circles, our school circles, our mentor circles, and how we are feeding them. This comes with positive self-talk. If you're positive to yourself, this is one of the coping skills that I use. Positive self-talk. I got to sit there and believe in myself so I can go out there and I can do that stuff for my family, for my friends, for the youth that I work with as a substance use disorder counselor in the school district here in Spokane. And when we sit there and we look, there was always a couple friends that I'd always get in trouble with. Or sometimes I was the one causing the trouble too. And this is where we make good boundaries. Coping skill number 2. We got to be able to make boundaries with our friends, our family sometimes. And maybe that boundary looks like, I can't be kicking it with you right now. If you're going to go out there and you're going to make those choices, I can't be a part of that right now. And it's very hard to do that, especially at a young age. But when we sit there and we look, like I've done so many times, gone back and looked at the wrongs that I've done, a lot of times there's a lot of negative people around me, and we're doing a lot of negative things together. So we have to constantly be checking on who's in our circle, how we're treating ourselves. So when I was in middle school, I was too big to play football. I was 240 pounds, 6'4", and the league said I couldn't. So I had to wait all the way till 9th grade to play my first downs of football. And it was crazy because actually before that, when I didn't have football in my life, I was struggling. I was struggling in school. I was struggling with the peers around me. And naturally, right when I got into 9th grade and I started playing football, I started making better choices. Because this is something the Creator gave me. I knew it all along since I was 6 years old that this is what I wanted to do. And it gave me the motivation to make those goals. It expanded what I thought about myself, just naturally playing football. And as I continued to go forward and get better, and my coaches saw the potential, that's when my coaches talked to me. They pulled me aside and they said, Levi, do you want to play college football? And I said, Coach, I want to play football for as long as possible. I didn't even care about college. I just knew that I had to go to college to continue playing. And so with this, he goes, Levi, we know what you're doing. We've been here in this neighborhood. We've been here at the school for a long time, and we know who you're hanging out with. And I was like, oh, man. And that's when I made my first good boundary, cut a couple people off my team because they weren't doing me any good. They just weren't. And they would try to tempt me, Levi, let's go do this, instead of me going to practice, me going to games, me getting better at what I want to do, my spark of divinity, this guy I like to read calls it. And that was one of the things that changed my life. If I wouldn't have made that boundary call, my life would have been a lot different. I wouldn't be able to have this opportunity to talk to you right now. And going forward, I got a little bit better. My junior year, I had people call me up. My first one was University of Minot, North Dakota. Why not Minot? And I got this phone call, and they said, Levi, you're going to go to college and play football. And in that moment, my life changed. Because this poor Northern Cheyenne boy from Hilliard, Spokane, is going to go to college. He's going to get an education. Me, I thought I'd get in trouble and like go to the army or have some type of option like that. That's what I believed in myself. But these mentors that football, this extracurricular activity gave me, they started letting me believe in myself. And this changed my life. This is one of the biggest times when we see that fork in the road. I went left. I made a good decision. I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy into myself, this football thing. So my junior year, I was all GSL, all Greater Spokane League. And then my senior year, I was all state tight end. And this got the attention of some bigger colleges around here. University of Idaho, and then University of Oregon came in the picture. And this is where I got scared, honestly. It should have been the happiest thing. Everybody looked at me, Levi, you're going to go to University of Oregon, play football for them. And I was just terrified. And this comes in the lesson of fear of failure. If you're scared to go out there and fail, you're not going to set yourself up for success. I kind of reverted back to my old ways when I went to University of Oregon. I had no positive self-talk. I had negative peers around me. I didn't believe in myself. But I was asked to go see a tutor. And this tutor, every time I went over there, she would talk to me about my feelings and what was going on. It was crazy, and I got tricked into going to counseling. But it was the best for me because I wasn't going to ask for help. I was too scared. I was too scared to ask for help. But she continued to coach with me and say, Levi, what aren't you doing? What are you doing right? What did you do right in your past? And I go, you know what? I haven't been talking to my mom. I haven't been praying. I haven't been talking to my mentors. All these positive things that I did in high school, I shut down. And it affected me. It affected me so much that I made so many bad decisions. At the end of the year, I was just getting everything together. My practicing was going good. I was believing myself. I was treating myself good. Calling my mom. I was praying. I was making better boundaries with those peers in my life. And at the end of the year, they asked me to transfer at the University of Oregon. So because I was so scared to just go 100%, I sabotaged myself. I see that a lot. I see a lot of our kids out there, they sabotage ourselves because we're so scared to fail that we would rather have control of it ourselves. You know what? If I'm going to fail, it's going to be on my terms. It's not going to be because I'm not good enough at playing football at the U of O. It's not because it's going to be grades. It's just going to be me because I'm going to sabotage myself. And that's what that lady was trying to help me with, is being able to set myself up for success. That's a challenge, and it's tough, but we can practice it. We can practice it. Just like a test. We got to go home. We got to do our homework. We got to show up to school. We got to have our ears open. We got to be listening to our teacher. And when we get that test, we'll be prepared. And that success, when we finally taste that success, it propels us to continue wanting to get to the top. High school football, college football, then the NFL. I just kept ramping it up, And people kept on supporting me, and I kept using positive self-talk and coping skills to get to the NFL. Will Smith has this saying, and I love it. He talks about how failure is a part of life. And the sooner that we accept that failure is a part of a life, we can actually use failure as a positive. When we go to the gym, we look for failure to get muscles. We want to go till we can't go anymore, and we build our muscles. When I went to the practice field, I failed more than I ever succeeded, but that failure got me ready for Saturdays and Sundays. Because it's that failure where I grew. And when we hit that uncomfortability, there's this space in life. It's uncomfortability. But when we can finally step into that, that's where our growth is. That's where our growth is. And that's the simple thing of what I like to do. And that's changing every negative situation that I have into a positive. One of my favorite coping skills is called radical acceptance. Radically accepting what we have chose. All of our choices have consequences. If we go to school, we don't go to school. If we go to practice, we don't go to practice. We have to accept those consequences for what we chose. Nobody else chose anything for us. It might seem that way sometimes when we're hurt, but it's always our choice. It's our choice to pick up that joint. It's our choice to pick up that bottle. It's our choice to ask for help or not ask for help. I know it's hard, but this is what we call radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is just being able to brush it off your shoulders. My coach always taught us we have to have a short memory, because if we go to the next play thinking about the last play, it's going to be tough. That last play, that negativity is going to affect our new play. Radical acceptance, being able to just switch and say that happened, it might have sucked, it might be good, she might have broke up with me, he might have broke up with me, but I have to continue going forward. I radically accept that if I don't go to work, I won't have a job and I won't be able to provide for my family. And being able to have that radical acceptance and being able to go forward, it's something that has helped me out a lot. And the next thing I want to talk about, and this is something that I've gone to so many different reservations, I've gone to so many different communities, and when I sit there and I ask them, I go, what are your dreams? What are your goals? Remember, I said Native people have always known that words have power. I put my dreams and my goals out there to Creator when I was 6 years old. Said I wanted to go to the NFL. It took me 17 years to get there of hard work, through high school, through college, tryouts, 17 years. And we all have those goals and dreams when we're younger. And shoot for those. Don't be scared anymore. You got to stop being scared of shooting big. We have great Native women leading in the Senate. We have more Native Americans out there doing bigger things now. And hopefully this shows you that you can do that. Don't be scared to dream. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to fail. There was a study done to see if people can walk in a straight line blindfolded. People can walk in a straight line blindfolded. They reproduced it in sand, in the forest, in water, on a boat, in a car. They did all these things to see if people can go in a straight line while being blindfolded. And when it came back, it always showed people would go like this. People would go in circles. And when I sit there and I first heard that story, I was like, if I didn't have football, I would have been going in circles. One of those circles would have left me to a bottle. I would have been sitting in my mom's basement still. I wouldn't be in my basement. I'd probably be in my mom's basement, dreaming and hoping and wishing about what we can do tomorrow. And I want to tell you, I want to instill in you, have these dreams young. Hold on to these dreams. Let these dreams get you out of your neighborhood, your area, your reservation, to go get your education, to go get your worldly experience and come back. That's one of the happiest things. That's something that gives me joy, is that I get to come back to Spokane, Washington. I get to walk in the same high school, and I know those problems that these kids have, and I'm able to advocate for them. I'm going to be able to sit here and know what they're going through and build that relationship. And being able to have those dreams will help you guys do that too. You will be able to come back and help your community, which is one of the most important things that Natives always talk about. How are we going to help the next generations? What are you doing right now to help the next generation? Me, I'm sitting down in the basement, got my headphones on, got my iPhone turned on, making a video for you. I don't know you yet. Hopefully we'll cross paths, but hopefully you'll be able to go and do the same and help a young one out there one day. So that's the blindfold study. Being able to sit there and have that goal and keep you on a good path. You don't always have to be the best. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to make more right decisions than wrong decisions to keep you going. And on that path, Creator's laid before you. Because we don't know it. We don't know it. But being able to help follow and strive behind Creator has always helped me do the right thing. And that's one of the most important things that my spirituality has given me. You know, I'm gonna follow Creator, but I know Creator's gonna put me in a good spot. Good spot. When it comes to this, having these goals, having these dreams, after football was over, I knew I was going to be hurt, and I knew I had to find something new to do. I had to explore within myself. And thinking back at all the coaches I had, mentors, teachers, my mom, my friends, I knew I wanted to give back to youth. That was my next goal. How I was going to do that was questionable. I didn't really know that yet, but I knew I wanted to give back to youth. So upon moving back to Spokane, I started working at the Native Project here, a local community health center, and I got to start working more and more. And this empowered me because I was a youth provider, but I seen all these, the mental health side, I saw the SUD side, substance use disorder, and I was like, man, I need to do more now. It just made me want to expand myself. And this is where the next thing that I see a lot of our youth have problems with. I had problems with it, but it shuts us down. Shuts us down in a way that we don't get experience and we don't try to become more open-minded. And that's saying no. I challenge you to say yes. The next opportunities, whether it be a summer camp, heck, it might have even just been this virtual summit that you're talking about. You said yes to, maybe a buddy brought you. But when I was able to sit there and start saying yes and say, these opportunities Creator is putting in front of me, I'm not going to say no to these anymore. So after I was a youth program coordinator, I got to go to school, back to school, where I never thought I'd be. After 5 years of college, I never thought I was going to go back to school for another 2 years and become a drug and alcohol counselor. I got the privilege of going inside of prisons and working with our brothers and sisters over there and helping them so they can come back out here and be more positive and not make those negative choices. And that's very powerful when you're able to go into a prison and then you come out of a prison. Because you're like, a couple choices, I could have been right in there with them. And if I would have said no, I wouldn't have been able to help them, and they wouldn't have been able to help me either. And think about the next time somebody approaches you and says, hey, you want to go try this? You want to go do this? You want to go give this a go? You want to go play this sport, play that sport? Just be like, oh man, you know what? I don't care if I fail. I'm going to be proud that I tried, and I'm not going to say no to opportunities anymore. You never know where Creator's going to lead you. One of the last things that has helped me a lot, helped me for sure, was being able to ask for help. At the University of Oregon, I was kind of tricked into it. I was young, I was very immature. I wasn't ready. I didn't have the skills that I was talking about to set myself up for success at the University of Oregon. I see that now looking back. I radically accept that was my wake-up call. I had to have that experience, I had to have that failure to turn my mind around. Because when I went to the University of Montana, I go, man, I just had it all taken away. I had my scholarship taken away, I had football taken away, and I got to keep on going positive. I have to watch out who's in my circle. I got to listen to my mentors, the ones out here that love and care about me. So I was going through another problem. I was going through another problem area in my life, like we all do. A lot of stress. School's hard, football's hard. And my coach came over to me after an incident between two of my friends. One of my friends assaulted one of my friends badly and cut him. And he goes, I go into his office and I tell him what happened. He's like, yeah, I already know what happened. And he goes, Levi, when you are in the newspaper, it's going to say Northern Cheyenne University of Montana football player. Did these things. We're out with his friends who did these things. And how's that going to look? How's that going to look back on your tribe, you, your family, our football family? I was like, oh, I got lucky. And then he goes, and at that moment, at that point in time in my life, he goes, Levi, I'm going to ask you if you're ready to receive some help. And that's when I said to myself, if somebody ever asks you, do you need help? Do you want help? That means you probably need it. And us, as one of our, universal teachings as Native Americans, being humble, listening to our elders, listening to the ones that we care about, when they come to you with that question, why don't you think about that? Because obviously they're seeing it from the outside in. And hope is scary. Being vulnerable is scary. But when you practice it enough, when you live it, it feels good. It lets out this love. I love everybody. I love you. If somebody's never told you they love you, I love you. Truly. Hit me up on Facebook, all that stuff. So come say hi to me. Ask me any questions about my story. But when I was able to just truly love and be an emotional man and not have to fake who I am because of what I think of from people around me, it was just nice. It's just a weight off your shoulders. So I challenge you. Build on yourself. Ask for help. Receive help. And you'll be able to see a lot. I was able to receive a lot of good blessings from being able to go and learn about myself and learn about my hurt. That was the biggest thing. Learn about my hurt. And also learn about what I'm really good at. What I can help and contribute to this world. And my people. So that's a little bit about my journey. And of course, going to the NFL. Out of college, I was All-American left tackle for the University of Montana. Going up there, I remember one of my first huddles, somebody kind of got hurt. And they were like, Levi, go in there, with the number ones. And I was like, oh my gosh. I want your autograph, I want your autograph, I want your autograph. Going in there in my first game, preseason game, and having practiced and went through everything in my playbook, in my mind, and they blitzed in on me. This guy blitzes down, and I go over and I just smash him over the pile. That was what I did. I smashed people around, and I had fun. I had fun doing it. Knowing that I could do that high level, reaching that goal of the NFL, it was something amazing. Being able to be an N7 ambassador and fly around and help youth, it was amazing. It was a dream come true. And when I sit there and I say I lost that scholarship because I didn't invest in myself to learn these things that teachers and counselors are teach you. That's what I'm trying to instill in you today. So when we review that, we want to be able to look at our peers, our positivity. Is our circle positive? Am I positive to myself? Positive self-talk, so important. I'm worth it. I'm going to try again. I'm going to do better. Positive self-talk to get you through those tough times. Having good peer support and having good boundaries. If we don't have good boundaries, we're going to let in a lot of people that can do negative in our life, affect us negatively. The fear of failure. When I went to Oregon, I didn't set myself up. I was scared. Like Will Smith said, fail early, fail often, and fail forward. Don't be scared of failure because that's where the growth happens. Fail early, fail often, fail forward. Blindfold study. Having goals. SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Look up SMART goals. Write your SMART goal down. Shoot me on Facebook, Levi Horn. Tell me what your SMART goal is. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. We have to stay focused. Stay focused on the path the Creator's given us. Believe in ourselves. Don't say no. Don't say no to that next opportunity that might be around the corner. Going to sweat, going to dance, doing something cultural, doing something educational, filling out your application to go to college. What are we going to do for the next generation? What are you going to do for the next ones out there that are hurting? We all got to come up. We all got to bring each other up. Men and women, native, non-native. That's how we're going to do it. Don't be able to ask, receive, help. We got to be humble. We got to be humble and know that we can't do this all by ourselves. Me going to the NFL, I had a full army behind me, helping me, supporting me, ready to be there if I needed it. And that's because I said yes to them. I was like, yeah, I want you on my team. Keeping a good, positive team. I just want to say, I love you. Thanks for coming out here, listening to me talk a little bit about my journey. Hope you learned a lot from this. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, all the tribes that set this up to help support our young ones out there, young ones, young adults. Thanks to all my bros and sisters that are on this virtual summit too. You guys are all amazing. Be blessed. Be blessed. Don't forget to pray. Don't forget to have that goal, have that dream, positive attitude. Many thank yous, many ha-hos.
Thank you for watching the Native Youth 2020 Virtual Summit. Please like our pages to stay informed on other Native topics and events. Stay tuned to the summit as there's more to come later today.